Hey, Programming 12, welcome back to the Dungeon Crawl project. We're going to do something new today. We're going to be making some enemies. We'll make a really boring enemy to start with. And the main thing that we want to try to create is an enemy that only shows up in a particular room. I know that our rooms are sort of an illusion, but we got to keep that illusion going. We want to walk into a room and the enemy's there. And when we walk out of the room, if we haven't, killed the enemy, it doesn't stay around, right? We don't want to just sit there. That illusion is also kind of spoiled by our bullets, hey? Have you noticed that if you shoot a bullet and you run out of the room, the bullet's in the new room as well, because there's no real rooms. It's all kind of illusions. So there's another problem to solve. I think we'll just work on the enemy right now, and we'll talk about how to get rid of those stray bullets when we go from room to room in another video. Okay, so let's make an enemy class. Let's go ahead and make a new tab. I'm going to call it enemy. Whatever you want to call it, though. Monster, villain, your choice. Class enemy is going to extend a game object. This is going to be a thing that's going to have a show and an act function, and it's going to be in the world. But we're going to have to make a bit of a change, I think. We're going to have to start thinking about game objects as being in particular rooms. It's going to get a bit annoying otherwise. So let's go and make that change right now. Before we start with enemy class, I'd like to go and look at the other things we have. So we have bullets, extend game object. Let's see, what else do we have? We have the game object itself, and we have heroes that extend game object. So I think that right now we have int room X and room Y. Currently that's just in the hero class, but I think that all of our game objects should be unique to a particular room. Should have like a room X and room Y for themselves. And instead of going and then programming it into each and every single class that extends game object, the smart thing would be to put it into game object itself. That way I only have to program it one time. So here's a great example, and I've kind of left it to do this on purpose at this moment to show you, when you're developing superclasses and subclasses, this is a great choice to make, to put as much as you can into the game object that prevents you from having to, duplicate code over and over again. So instead of me going to enemy class and putting it in here, I'm going to say, hey, you know what? Hero, I'm going to take that code and I'm going to move it out of hero and put it into the game object. So now all game objects have a room int, an int, room X, and a room Y. It doesn't change anything in our hero class. It's still fine. Like, it can still access the room X and room Y. But now, so does everything have a room X and room Y. We do have to go and update our bullet constructor, though. You might have more than one constructor. This is what my bullet constructor looks like. If yours looks different, that's okay, because that was sort of for you to create. I just copied these vectors. That was my technique. But you can, you don't have to change it to be like that. But what I will do is I will make my room X. Oh, I'm not sure how that's spelled as room X. I will make my room X and room Y equal to the hero's room X and room Y. So my hero dot room X and room Y will be my hero dot room Y. So I'm going to make that change for bullets. That makes sense for the bullets to show up in the room that the hero is in. That's not going to entirely solve our problems. But it's going to be a start. It's going to be an interesting start towards solving that problem. We'll finish solving that problem later on. Let's get back to the enemy, though. We're talking about room X and room Y. So let's go ahead and create that enemy at a particular room. So I don't think we need anything just yet. So what we'll do is we'll just make the enemy constructor. And we should probably, I guess we could make a default enemy. Oh, there's a no announcement. So I'll simply make the enemy's constructor make an enemy with a certain number of hit points. This location will be a new p vector. Maybe we'll just put it at the center of the screen. Let's put it at width divided by 2, height divided by 2. Let's make a velocity that is 0, so it's not moving anywhere. Let's give it a hit points of like 100 hit points or something. And then let's make it at room x equals 1, room y equals 1. Just as our default enemy. As you're probably thinking, this isn't a good, this isn't really good for much. I just want to like see if we can make one show up. So there's my constructor, my show function. Well, my game object doesn't really have much of a show function, but I think that's a good thing. We could just make our own show function. So what does an enemy look like? Maybe it's like a green circle or something, just to start off with. So I'll make void show. Maybe it's just a green circle. So fill with green. I think I have a green. We'll find out. Ellipse. Well, I guess we don't have really a size, hey? Let's put it at location.x, location.y. Be nice to have a size. I don't think we actually have that built into our superclass, so that might be a smart thing to do. I'll just choose, just for fun's sake right now, I'll just choose 50 for the size, but we should probably consider making that something more. Stroke, I guess we could put in the stroke black, stroke weight 2 or something, just to make it, give it a show function. So that's great. And then I guess we should give it, maybe we could just like put some text on it to show its hit points. So maybe we could say fill with black again, and we could write the text of its HP, which will be at location.x, location.y, and maybe we'll give it some text size of, I don't know, I'm not sure what the appropriate number would be. We'll just trial and error it. We'll give it a 20. Okay, so there's our enemy. It's pretty basic to start off with, but it's a good start. And then what I'd like to do is go and make an enemy. Let's just make a practice enemy just to see if it works. So in my setup, maybe after I make my hero, I'll make a new enemy. I'll just say, I don't need to keep a reference to it. I'll just say add new enemy. We'll make a default enemy. And we'll just see if it shows up. Oh, I got a problem here. Ellipse. Oh, I made an ellipse. I guess I meant to say circle. So apologies. If it was ellipse, I could have put 2 50s to make a circle. It just requires a width and a height. So I'll use circle instead. All right, here we go. Here's our enemy. Oh yeah, there it is. It showed up at the center of the screen. And it sticks around, unfortunately. So if I go to the next screen, oh, it's still there. If I go over here, oh, it's still there. But it should really be part of room 1-1, right? Like I even programmed it to say, in the enemy class, like, be in room 1-1. Don't be in other rooms. But of course, that doesn't actually mean anything, as those are just integers. And I'm going to have to program the mechanisms by which it only shows that enemy when we're actually in room 1-1. So we'll take a look at that in a little bit. We'll end the video here, and I look forward to showing you that in the next video. Thanks, everybody.